Do you like to read several 10-page documents on a daily basis? Yeah, me neither. Nobody does. The gaming industry companies have hectic work environments, just as dynamic as the games they produce. Deadlines have to be met, objectives must be achieved. In an ideal world, everyone would read your documents from top to bottom, and you would do the same with other people's docs. However, this doesn't happen in every situation. I'd say it doesn't happen in any situation, really. But there is a solution, and I am very happy that I learned it before I jumped to work on these videos. Hello guys, this is Duilio here, but you can call me Dewey or Dewey, and welcome to this video series about creating game design documents. We are here to learn how to create a usable, organic, and outstanding GDD. This is video number 9 in the series, and it's all about visual documents to enhance your communication skills. If you missed the previous videos, by the end of this one, I will direct you to the list that includes everything we have covered so far. I highly recommend you watch the previous video for context, because we covered how to write a document, so I'm leaving a card up here so you have that video at hand. Why use Figma? Why use any visual tool at all? I love writing and I love reading, but this led to some of my documents to be approached as a blog post more than proper feature documentation. Does this mean that writing long and detailed documents is a bad practice? No, not at all. Actually, as I've said repeatedly, it will always depend on the style of the project. However, people are naturally drawn to infographics and visual guides because they are easier to digest. They make it easy to share complex information in just seconds. So a visual document will help your team with saving time, digesting information faster, and knowing the core vision for a feature. Now, back to the question on why Figma, specifically FigGem. I suggest this tool because it's great for collaboration, it's clear and clean, and it's simple enough to use. You could use any tool to build an infographic or a visual document, but I've grown used to FigGem and it has proven to be quite useful. There's also a major reason for FigGem in particular and visual documents in general, which we will discuss right away. Communication is key. I know you must be tired of hearing me say this, especially if you saw my previous videos. If you haven't, you should, but that means this is the first time you hear me say it. Communication is key. This is one of the golden rules of documentation. Anything that enhances communication and helps the team work together at the same time is perfect for any project. FigJam is also great if you have to brainstorm together or shape ideas with your team members. As always, there is no single way of doing this, but the tips we covered in the previous video about how to write design documents also apply here. Let me give you an example. We don't need to create a proper infographic, but we can turn all the bullet points in our documentation into something more visual with the least amount of text possible. So let's say I had to build a feature for War of the Maelstrom. Let's work, for instance, on the faction system. What I want my team to know is what this system is about. Nothing is obvious, so let's add this first sentence for context. Then we proceed with an overview that explains what the team needs to know. We have 4 factions, each faction has its own perks, each faction has a unique composition, and as a part of this faction system, each of them can be customized. I like to find representative icons or images here, but you can also use your own game art. The point here is to associate an image with a concept. More on this later. Last but not least, it is important to link the visual guide to the actual documentation, so we can drop a link in the overview. Then I want to go through the faction perks as one of the mechanics I want my team to know. So first faction will be my template. I'll start with the Enarishar, create a small card here and a reference image as a visual guide. Then list the perks for this faction. And remember those icons we used for the overview? Let's bring the perks icon as a visual guide here. Okay, now, I promised my team 4 factions, so let's copy the first card and replace the info. Now we have all the perks for every faction. I will not continue to expand on all the content for this document because it isn't the point of the video, but I did want to show a quick example. What will happen now is that I will share this with my team and they can keep this visual guide as a reference to the vision for the faction system. And the good news is, they will not have to read through pages and pages to get to know the design intentions. Okay guys, we now have a visual document to share or use during our meetings. Remember to also track this in your control document. The more you can cross-reference your documents, the more systemic and organic this will be. The next video will be the last in this series, so get ready to wrap this up. If you missed the previous videos, I am leaving here a link to the entire list for this video series, so you can have a better grasp of what we want to cover here. Nothing more to add this time. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next ones. Thank you for joining me. See you on the next one.